Welcome to this week's episode of The Providers, brought to you by SmokingIt.com. This week, we are hitting a little bit of everything. Steve got himself a new toy he's going to tell us about. Maybe some changes that he's looking to do to it, some modifications, some upgrades. I disagree with all of it, but... And then we dive back into the world of turkeys as we're starting to approach April, and we got a great viewer question that came in about turkey hunting and how you can call them in, and how your buddy sits in the studio across from you and does turkey calls the whole time you're trying to focus on an intro to a show.
It's without a call.
It's not bad. It's not bad. This is going to be a good episode. It is entertaining, and we hope you guys enjoy it.
Like leaving boot prints in the mud. As the crisp morning air stands up your neck of hair and your adrenaline starts to flood. When you're a provider, you understand the things the woods can do. How you can lose yourself in the things that you love, but you can find yourself in them too. Yeah, with a hard-hunting, freeze a failing providers. Yeah, with a hard-hunting, freeze a failing providers.
Who doesn't love making a delicious meal for their family? Smoking It Smokers allow you to do just that. Simply set the settings and walk away, only to come back hours later to have a delicious meal waiting for you. Smoking It Smokers, when only the best will do.
What's up?
What's up, man? Another week.
Another week. Here we are.
Getting closer to that turkey season. I'm
Yes,
ready.
sir.
More so, I'm just ready to be done with winter. I don't really care about anything else.
True.
I'm just over it.
That's true.
Ice fishing's done. I'm ready to be done with it. So
Yeah.
what's been going on?
Man, it's feeling old.
Yeah?
That's all. Yep.
Why is that?
When your youngest is turning 16, it makes you think about life. Like, oh my gosh.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So,
That is crazy.
beware.
Getting him a car?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. He's, my old man's actually giving him his old Jeep. So,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah.
So he's done all the driver's training and all that.
Yeah, so he did, he had to get all his hours in, his daytime and nighttime. And actually, we did a little cheat code on that. He drove down for the youth hunt in Ohio.
Oh, nice.
That put a lot of hours on.
Right, right.
But no, he's had a lot of time behind the seat. Did all that. He's taken his, I think you do your written test, and they do all these phases now. Segment 1, segment 2, all this stuff. And then he did his driving test. He passed that. So you actually have, they give you your license beforehand. And then once he has his driving test done, then that just activates.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
we don't even have to go to Secretary of State or anything like that. So.
It's amazing to me how many kids don't care to get a driver's license now.
Yeah, they just choose not to do it.
Yeah, I'm
It's
like,
crazy.
dude, when I turned 15, it was like, get me a license as fast as
Right.
humanly possible. So yeah, good for him. Good for him. So
Yeah, it'd be cool.
getting the Jeep.
Yeah, getting all that set up.
Nice.
It's funny because Sam's my big hunter, and he's getting a Jeep. A Jeep would be so awesome for so many kids in high school. Like, you have a 4-wheel drive convertible. Like, that'd be awesome. That's the dream.
right.
Sam's like, yeah, I mean, a truck would be better.
Gonna say,
Come on, dude.
So for his first birthday, he's getting one of those cargo racks that he can put on the
Yeah,
back
probably.
hitch so he can pull a deer home.
Yeah, that's all he's worried about is how am I going to get a deer home with a Jeep?
Yeah,
Like,
huh?
oh my gosh.
Legitimate concern.
Right.
That's awesome.
And then Max is right around the corner for turning 21. So it's unbelievable.
Yeah, you are getting old.
Yeah.
I just turned 45 last week.
There you go.
So I know. I watched a 50 and over indoor soccer game while I had my daughter at soccer. And I was like, these guys have to be like 30 years older than me. And I was like, I'm 5 years from being able to play this. I was like, am I really in this bad a shape that I'm just oblivious to the fact that I'm as old as I really am? I don't know, but
Yeah.
so what's up? What else? What's going on? What are you getting excited for?
So, all right. When we went on that rabbit hunt down in Ohio,
Uh-huh.
you didn't get to go.
I know.
Did I tell you about bringing home some new hardware?
No.
So, I shot Jay's bow when I was down there.
Mm-hmm.
And then he threw out a number
Uh-huh.
and I couldn't refuse. So,
Wait a minute. How many?
I brought a bow
stop.
home.
Stop. How many bows have you bought from Jay at this point between your
Two
children?
in this year. 2 in 1 year. 2 in 1 year.
Have you ever considered that maybe Jay just knows that you're gonna buy?
Yeah, I'm a sucker. Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah. I'm a
He's
sucker.
like, yeah, I'm just gonna take this bow off Craigslist. Steve will buy it.
Steve will buy it. Steve will get it.
All right. So what'd you get?
So it's a Matthews.
Yeah, I know. He's always shot Matthews.
Yeah. Which I've never shot him. I've never owned a Matthews,
Okay.
which is weird. Like most people, it's like,
Well, you had a Prime forever, right? Was it Prime?
yeah.
Yeah.
So, I shot it and I was very impressed with it. It's a lot different than I've shot in the past. So it made my mind start racing and I started going down rabbit holes. So, but it also made me fall back in love with just shooting my bow, right? So as we've had these weather breaks and stuff, I've been sneaking out, shooting a couple shots. Like, oh, like I'm
I was gonna say the fact that you're shooting at all is impressive. Because I have not even thought about shooting.
shotting.
I've not thought about shotting my bow.
Yeah. So I will say, when I first picked the bow up, it seemed really heavy, and I was like,
As most Matthews are.
I'm like, this is weird,
Uh-huh.
And then he sold it to me as is with everything on it, like fully loaded. So there's a bunch of different things. So as you already know, last year I switched over to that thumb release.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a whole different beast in itself, right? So I'm like, I don't know. This whole thing is going to be about, first of all, you don't know what you don't know.
Uh-huh.
Second of all, I've been in this game a long time and I'm still trying to tweak and learn and apply new things. And like right now I feel like I'm starting all over, which is crazy.
Uh-huh.
But I am already 10 times more confident than I was before. So I was explaining this to Matt, and Matt and I have a joke because Matt has his he has a food truck, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one time after an event, he had sold out on that event. Like, no more food. We're
Right.
sold out.
Right.
And then he starts talking to me about, yeah, I'm thinking about if I could just, I don't know, he was coming up with crazy ideas. And one thing was like, hey, if I could, maybe it was like a mascot or something like that. And they could walk around and have a plate of his stuff. And I was like, once you're sold out, you're sold out. Like, what do you want? What do you want to do? Sell out faster?
Right.
Like, so it kind of
Right.
became a joke. Like, you want to improve on something that you're already really good at.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so when I told Matt, I was like, I'm shooting really good right now. And he's like, that's scary because I feel like you were shooting really good before that, you know? So,
right.
but to me, confidence going into the woods is everything.
Mm-hmm.
So like, if you're aiming at a tiny little dot and you're off by a half inch and you're mad about it,
Mm-hmm.
when a deer comes in, if you're off by that half inch, it's a dead deer, right?
Right.
But anyways, this bow has different things than I'm used to. So first, it has a single pin sight where it has have you ever shot a single pin?
I did once, yeah, for a little while.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah.
So I've always been like a 3-pin
Uh-huh.
guy, 20, 30, 40.
I
you
went
know.
back to that.
Right.
But yes, I have.
So this one's a single pin. It's got the distance tape on the side.
Yeah.
You can
Dial it.
dial it or whatever. I have probably the same concern that you do. Hunting season comes. Am I going to dial it? What am I going to just set it at 25 yards and say, okay, if it's at 20, I can hit it, and if it's at 30, I can hit. I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet.
Right.
I don't know if I can just make that adjustment real quick on the fly. I don't know. But what I do know is looking at that single pin is so much more clear for me and steady for me. And there's like
No questions.
no questions, no confusion, no anything. It's pretty smooth.
Mm-hmm.
It is, my last sight was a micro adjust, but this micro adjust is newer and more advanced. It just seems like, I mean, I've made adjustments on it and it's like you can just fine tune the crap out of it, which is awesome. So that's been fun. So that's a whole different element than I'm used to. And then he's got crazy stabilizers on it. So the front one is probably
Because the Matthews isn't heavy enough to begin with.
right. Right.
Is this why you've been working out so much?
Yeah. So it's got a pretty hefty stabilizer on the front for a hunting situation, I would think. It's probably 12 to 14 inches,
Oh,
maybe
dang,
15
yeah,
inches.
that's-
I mean, it's pretty long.
Okay.
And then it's got a back stabilizer on it, which I've never used before. And that one's probably 11 or 12 inches, or maybe 10. I don't know what it is, but it's different than I've ever experienced.
Uh-huh.
So I'm like, is this going to work in a hunting situation or not? I think it is, but I'm going to have to play around with that. It does have, I mean, I can obviously just unscrew it and take it off when I'm hunting, if it doesn't work out when I first go out. But
And he hunted with it that way, right?
He
like
did.
it wasn't set up to target shoot or anything. That's how he hunted.
that's how he hunted with
Yeah.
it. Granted, he doesn't saddle hunt either. So
Right.
if you know what I mean? I don't think it's going to be an issue, but we'll see.
And he only took it out in the woods because we never actually saw him shoot
Yeah,
anything.
right. Yeah.
He just
He did shoot a doe this year with that bow.
I guess he shot a doe that year that we
And
went down.
he only
to a
owned
couple
that
years
bow
ago.
for like 2 months. Because he sold me Sam's bow.
I was gonna say because he sold you another bow.
And then he bought that bow, and
Yeah.
now he wants the newest. And but anyways,
Max is really gonna like that bow next year when he buys Jay's current bow.
actually Max. It's interesting. So this is what's crazy with kids. So as a hunter, as an outdoorsman, I want to introduce everything to my kids and give them every advantage possible, right? So we have it on video, Max shooting his first deer and
right?
me taking him out, and Max was into it at the moment, but he's never really been into it.
Uh-huh.
Where Sam was instantly like addicted, had to do it, right?
Right.
So I've been one that doesn't push what I want for the kids. It's more what they want, And so Max is like give or take with hunting, and mostly he doesn't want to take the time and whatever. I got this new bow. I showed it to him. I'm like, this is sweet, whatever. Here, come in the backyard, shoot my old bow, then shoot this bow, and, you can tell the difference or whatever. He's like, oh, yeah, we get back in the garage, and I'm like, well, I can sell the old bow, or you can have it. Whatever you want to do. And he's like, well, I don't want to take money from you. And I'm like, dude, I would rather you have it,
Right.
but I'm not pressuring you on anything. All of a sudden he got excited, like, oh, sweet. Like, if I'm to jump back into hunting, like, archery's the way I'd want to go, and this is a good bow. And so he actually mentioned about shooting yesterday with me, but it was cold and windy, and
Right.
so we wound up not doing it. But so that might actually get him back involved and into that. So sorry,
That'd be
that was
awesome.
a offhand tangent right there, but so that'd be cool. Like, it's cool if they show interest on their own. And I did the same thing when I was real young. I was into it with my dad. I would always want to go out with him and sit with him and do all that stuff. Then I got into high school and I was like, that's side burner stuff. I'll go out opening day, maybe,
Right.
and then right after high school, then I got a bow in my hand, and that's when it all kind of took off from there. But so back to the bow. Everything's different. Have you ever shot a back stabilizer?
No, I am a firm believer that I want my bow as light as humanly possible.
Until you're rock
I know.
solid steady.
I know.
Like, I have not been this steady on my shot probably ever. Like,
Right.
it's just it's
I'm sure.
awesome. To me, it's another game changer or whatever.
And it'll be more of a game changer in the wind because it'll help hold you
Right,
steady in the wind. Yeah.
So I go down this rabbit hole. At our age, that's what we do. We start researching crap, right? And a lot of times,
Mostly while you're sitting on the toilet.
right, in the office. So I'm looking stuff up and looking at, like, there's all sorts of. I saw one guy where, like, super knowledgeable guy owns a bow shop, and he has a guy at full draw away from his trigger, obviously, shakes his whole bow, and then he's like, all right, look at your bubble, hold it. So he's looking at his bubble, and it's like he's originally like this,
Right.
and then he has to correct it.
Uh-huh.
So he takes that back bar and he moves it in or out, whatever way, just a little adjustment, and then all of a sudden it's here, and then you know what I mean. And then now every time he brings it up, it's like bam.
Oh, interesting.
So it's kind of cool, right?
yeah.
So then I keep looking at stuff, and I found a product that's new that has me intrigued that I'm probably going to have to get into some safe money for. So this is interesting. I kind of wanted to see what you think about this.
Okay.
I haven't bought it yet. I've just looked at it.
But you will.
Probably. It's called the company name is Acu Archery. So ACU Archery.
Okay.
And it's a Acu SOS. And
Are you trying to get us another sponsor right now?
it would be awesome. But this is a stabilizer that you won't envision it. It's going to be hard for me to explain on this. So it uses the same technology that they use to make skyscrapers not sway. They put in buildings to anti-earthquake activity. Suspension bridges use it. They were using it for F1 racing, and then they deemed it illegal because it was stabilizing stuff so much.
Is it a front or a rear stabilizer?
You can do it either way.
Okay.
So it is 3 or 4 cables that kind of go, like, I would say in an arch, kind of, up to a weight.
Okay.
And there's weak cables and strong cables. So you have to adjust it and turn it to whatever works for your setup. And you can have it again forward or back or whatever, and they make a target one and they make a hunting one or whatever. But what it does is it takes away the majority of the big movement that you're doing. So then you're locked on. So what if you research stabilizing your bow, the first thing everybody says is no one can hold their bow at full draw and have it just hold and stay 100% in one spot.
Uh-huh.
You're going to be moving, right? So what this does is it takes out all that movement and it just pinpoints it down, and you might have a little bit of vibration or whatever, but it's going to be right over the sweet spot.
Huh.
And to me, it was just something brand new that opened my eyes to be like, whoa, like maybe this will be the thing that everybody does going forward. You don't know.
Right.
Or, like at some point somebody had to put a stabilizer on the front and say, we need to put some counterweight on here.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
I have
don't know. It's crazy.
taken my stabilizer off.
Mm-hmm.
And it is crazy not having some counterweight. So yeah,
Right.
I do think obviously having the counterweight. Now I've never had a rear stabilizer. I've
Right.
never gone that far with it, but I can tell you that changing your front stabilizer out does way more than you think it does. Even
Right.
I think the one I bought, you could run it as a 4-inch or a 6-inch or whatever. So I tried it both ways, and it's crazy how much it does change leverage in your hand. But
I've never really gave it much thought. Like I always had like a 4 to 6 inch
right.
hunting stabilizer that threw on there that was like, okay, that's supposed to help. You know what I mean?
I think
I never really gave it a lot of thought.
I think the first time I gave it thought was I bought the Hoyt Carbon Element, I think was the first one that came out.
Mm-hmm.
That was a carbon bow, and spoiled myself because it was so damn light.
Mm-hmm.
But then because that bow was so light, Fuse had that, it was like a blade that came out. And the reason for the blade was if you ran the blade this direction, that the wind could pass past your stabilizer without giving any wind resistance on your bow. That was the first time I ever paid attention to what a stabilizer was. You know what I mean? But after I went to that carbon bow, when we hunted for working class for a little bit and worked with them, we got sponsored by Matthews, and I bought
Hoyt, right?
No, we got sponsored by Matthews, and I bought a Matthews. Yes, I did. I bought the Matthews. I spent a boatload of money on it, and I hated it because
I must have opted out of that program.
You didn't.
I know.
I remember you didn't.
I know. With
You didn't have to because
Midwest Whitetail, we were Hoyt.
Yeah.
And I bought a Hoyt.
Working class
and I
had the
hated
Matthews,
it, but, yeah.
and I think you guys got around it because Ron had an old Matthews.
Oh yeah, he had that old switchback.
Yeah, so you were
Yeah.
good.
Okay.
I bought the new Matthews, and I could not get used to the weight difference, and I ended up selling it and going back to my carbon Hoyts. So that's what I still shoot. But I know a lot of people like that heavier in your hand feel.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, especially not shooting as much as I used to, I am kind of, I have way more drift than I used to. And then you get to the point that you're trying to time it. Like I'm drifting left, I'm bringing it back, and I'm on the sweet spot, pull the trigger. But
I'll admit what I was in a very bad habit, and I'm hoping this breaks it, but I couldn't hold steady, right? So I had my own cheater system, which is very dangerous way of doing it, but I did it so consistently that it worked. Is I'd watch my pin, and I drop my pin slowly to the actual bullseye or the deer,
Right.
and I drop it in, and then bam.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But that, if you push that trigger too early,
Right.
you're shooting way over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you got to kind of,
And that's what I do too, basically.
and
like,
I mean, I'm being drastic.
I'm
when
trying
you know,
to
but like,
time the sway. Yeah.
right. And that's all you're doing as an archer is you're trying to time that. Well, I don't know. That rabbit hole I went down, like, they're saying that you've always been taught to look through your peep and look at that pin, and then your target's in the back, and you focus on your pin. But now they're saying focus on the target. You're gonna automatically hit that target, but you know what I mean.
Right.
Your pin placement is important, but you're ultimately
Worried about where it's at on the.
yeah. So I don't know. There's a lot to it, and it's just been fun for me to kind of start over again.
It gives you a reason. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember I sold my bow 2 or 3 years ago.
Mhm.
And I can't even tell you why, but I lost all confidence with it.
Yeah.
And I think it was a total mental game, but I was like, I can't hit anything with this bow. Like
Right.
it was like that target panic. And I was like, I got to sell this bow and buy a new bow. And I bought a new bow, and it was still a Hoyt, and it was still a carbon, and it was maybe a year newer than what it was. There's really no change from my old bow and my new bow is what I'm trying to say. But when I got the new bow and started shooting it, I was like, this is awesome. I can do it. And I think it's just a mental shift that,
Yeah.
but I hit that target panic phase of,
Mm-hmm.
oh my God, I can't hit anything right now.
Right.
And I really wasn't probably that far off, but I think I had a year that I missed a couple of deer, or I can't remember. I might have wounded a deer that year. I don't remember. And I was just in my own head so bad that I was like, I got to sell this bow and get another bow. And I'm not normally a big head case like that, but I guess it can happen. So
Yeah, for sure.
So that's sweet.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Just
So
just adding weight to carrying with that saddle.
I know. I know. So then thinking about, I've changed that trigger release, sight, stabilizers. What else do you have?
Arrows.
Yeah, I haven't even ventured down that path right now. Like that gets pricey.
Probably need to change the spine on those.
So how do you grip your bow?
Loose. In my, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't ever squeeze. I lock it in on that notch right there. And
Mm-hmm.
that's it.
So if you go down this rabbit hole, they're going to say that you and I are old school.
Because that's the old way of doing it.
Yeah. So like I would always go like this to get the riser in the riser part of your handle in the
Right.
front, get it lined up perfect in the crease, and then I would open up
Yeah.
and shoot, and then you instinctively just
Yeah,
your
grip.
hand just kind of grips, right? Well, in my research, it says that was a great way to do it when handles were like this thick, and like, you know, like they were just wide handles, and to get in the sweet spot, you'd open up your hand, because if you gripped it at all, it was
You could torque it around.
you're going to torque it, and then if you grip it too much, you're definitely going to torque it. Like if you grip it too much right now, you're going to torque it. But now it's hold on, you get it in the sweet spot of your crease, right? And then you wrap your hands around it, and it's almost at a little bit of an angle. And you keep you're not like squeezing it, but your hands are on it. So when you release, there's no grabbing it. Because when you grab it, that's going to do target panic, and you're going to punch it. So you're instinctively automatically going to do this. right?
Uh-huh.
So that got my mind like, have I been doing this wrong this whole time? Even though it's been successful? So now I'm playing around with grips. Like, everything is crazy.
I don't feel like I've been doing it wrong this whole time, but I don't know. Maybe.
Hey, what's better than
I don't
a
feel
dead
like
deer?
you've been
what's
doing
better than a dead deer? A deader deer.
Yeah, a dead deer that goes on your wall, I guess.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't feel like
That's what
we've
I'm
been wrong
saying.
here.
I know. But you get out and you start shooting targets and you're like, I want it better. I know.
I've watched you thread the needle through like 3-inch holes in a branch to shoot a deer square in its femoral artery in its ass to kill it within 40 yards. I'm pretty sure you didn't need to modify how you squeeze your grip.
Hey,
Come back from the dark side.
I know. I went down a rabbit hole, all right?
So how much is your new stabilizer going to cost you?
$175.
Shoot.
Yep.
What we've done forever works, right?
Right.
But then all this new stuff comes out, and I think when we were younger, we felt like you had to have the new stuff to make it work. And
Yeah.
now we realize we don't,
Right.
but it doesn't mean that the new stuff isn't beneficial. So
Right.
I'm sure that there's definitely rhyme and reason behind like the stabilizer you're talking about,
Right.
taking that vibration out and stuff. And then it's, it's awesome that things are advancing to the point that we're correcting some of those issues. Do we necessarily need it? Obviously not. We've killed deer before that.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's cool to check out new stuff, and if it's got you excited to get back out in the yard, like that's
the main thing.
That's
is,
awesome.
Like, shooting a lot.
Yeah.
That's the key to it. Is if you're repetitive and you shoot a lot, once that moment of truth hits, it's just
right.
natural thing. And I've always said it. My goal is to step into the woods and be 100% confident.
Yeah.
That if something comes into my shooting range, I am getting that deer. Like it's gonna happen. So,
And I feel like if as any hunter, if you have less than that mindset, more than likely you're gonna fail.
right,
Like
Right.
I think we feel the same way.
right,
My range, and this is perfect example. Like when we were doing this all the time, filming and all that, I would have drawn a 50-yard radius around my tree, and I would have guaranteed you that if a deer stepped inside of that 50-yard radius, that I was going to kill it.
right,
Then that radius became 40. And honestly, now that radius for me is probably 30.
right,
And I'm like, if you're inside that 30-yard radius, you're dead.
right,
But I'm not shooting as much as I used to, so I gave up 20 yards. You know what I mean? But you got to have that confidence. Like if I get really pissed off if I have an animal in range and can't figure out how to kill it,
right,
like that, you've done everything you need to do. All you have to do is execute at that point. And if you don't have that confidence that you can execute, then you better be figuring out a different way to do it, or
right.
you're just not going to be successful. But,
And in wounding and not finding,
oh, it's worse than missing.
oh, drives me nuts.
I'd rather flat out miss and be mad at myself and go home and still be able to sleep
Right,
than wound it and
Right.
lose sleep for 3 days trying to figure out
right.
the solution, you
Right.
know? Yeah. So turkey season's coming up. You gonna try the new bow, or are you thinking gun?
I don't even know. Depends on situation, I guess. So if I think I got to be out in the field with a blind, then I'll go with my bow. But I do like running and gunning with that gun.
So we got an interesting viewer question emailed to us. And the question is, what do you do if you've got a tom hung up 80 yards out, not with a hen, but hung up? and just will not commit to come inside of it. What's the game plan? And I feel like we've had this happen.
I'm going to try to get into the mind of a Tom. Sometimes you have to go drastic and go, and just go after him, you know? So I kind of go a little bit Greg Francis mode and kind of throw the book at him. But you have to play the game. So when I say play the game is you have to know when to get aggressive and know when to just shut up. Because eventually, if he's calling back, he knows you're there. He's going to get frustrated. And that's when he's going to come in. But if you start calling at that break point,
Right.
then he's going to relax and gobble again and be like, all right, they're coming. So it's a reverse mindset. So every time he gobbles, you're like, he's coming, you know, but he's thinking the same thing. Every time you're clucking, hey, she's coming my way. I'm good, you know? So
I think the first big question is, do you have a decoy or not? Right? Do you have something he can see? Because I feel like that would kind of change your strategy.
What's your decoy strategy? Mine's completely different than anybody I've hunted with before, probably.
I typically find I do better with a tom, just a single lone tom.
Oh.
I had a Jake and a hen that I spent a boatload of money on, and I had zero luck when I take them out with me. But I feel like the tom, especially strutting tom, is just a bigger thing to see. So I don't know. I feel like I like the fact that you've got tail feathers fanned out, and you know, which is weird because obviously the bird's looking for a hen, right? So I feel like you're working a little. That's why I used to like the hen. When we had that fake hen, you remember Joe had that hen that was like a taxidermied real hen?
Yeah.
Holy crap, you could bring birds into that like crazy. But I mean, that was as realistic as it got.
All right.
But I don't know. I feel like just the bigger silhouette maybe helps birds see it from further away. So I like to do a tom.
Yeah.
What's your...
Mine is just a solo tom.
Yeah.
And so I've seen it where on a long sit where you can see a tom working the edge of a field and he's with hens. And then you wait it out, and an hour or two later he's coming back because he had heard you before. And then he sees your tom and he's like, oh, there's a tom over there. This is my territory.
Right.
And he marches over to try to be dominant. You know what I mean? Where sometimes in the past, I've had like the Jake and hens or whatever, right? Or a tom and hens. And I think sometimes, and this is probably me overanalyzing, but I think sometimes a tom, there's a lot, their population has grown. There's a lot of birds now. So it's kind of like a buck with as many does as it wants, right? So he surveys the situation and goes, they're already with a tom.
Right.
Why do I need to bother with that? I'm going to go after these birds. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I kind of think sometimes a lot of people put a big flock of birds out, and that's not necessarily what it's going to take. And if you're clucking like a hen, but he sees the tom,
Right. He automatically thinks there's a second bird.
yeah, and he's automatically like, get out of my territory,
Right.
and he gets mad and comes over. You know what I mean? Where I don't know, for some reason I think he's more apt to come to a tom to fight than come to a hen. You know what I mean? Because the hen is supposed to go to him. I don't know. That
So
might
I
be
think
wrong. I don't know.
I think from and going with what you're saying, but like for a new turkey hunter, I think it's accurate to say that birds fly down out of the roost. The toms go check the hens. They mess with the hens. They all eat after they fly down.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like you said, there's like hour and a half later, hens go sit on the nest, whatever. And that tom goes, oh, now I want to go look for something else.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've got him hung up in the morning with a group, sometimes it's waiting them out,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then seeing if you can draw them over for something different, on a late morning, early afternoon hunt. But I don't know if he's hanging out at 80 yards. I feel like he's coming at some point.
Yeah. I've seen it both ways, but yeah.
Like, I almost feel like I would tend to be more quiet until I see that he's committing to go elsewhere.
Yeah.
Now, I've also seen you, especially in a blind or something, if we're hidden, or a couple hunts where, well, like the one we said where I could see the bird, but you couldn't, so the bird couldn't see you either, where you actually turn your head and call away from the bird
Mm-hmm.
to make it think that hen's walking away from him.
Mm-hmm.
And that really pisses him off. And I think that can bring him over too, is
Right.
that change of direction. When you're calling, you don't have to be looking straight ahead at him, throwing the
Right.
exact same sound. If all of a sudden that noise is getting a little further away, now he's like, oh, wait a minute, I'm losing her.
Right.
That could be a deal breaker too, I feel like.
Yep. Trying to get in their mind a little bit.
I never, ever thought I would say I would call less. Ever. I can't believe I even said it. Because anybody who has ever hunted with me, right now, Joe Ream is rolling over in his grave if he's listening to this, because he's like, there is no way that Greg shuts up and stops calling.
Turkey hunting. Bring out the rattle tag.
If the deer come in, the turkeys could come with it.
Right.
They feel comfortable.
Right. That is true.
But no, I mean, I don't know. If you got them at 80 yards and you can see them and they're just hanging, I just feel like they're going to commit at some point. But like we said, from sun up to sundown, most of the time they roost back in the same place.
Right.
So if you really watch them, I feel like they kind of work. Maybe it's not an exact circle, but they have like a daily pattern that they follow. And we've talked about that, about trying to set up on them. We know they come to this field, but they don't come to this field until 2.5 hours after sunrise. You know what I
Right.
mean? And if you can pattern that, man, that makes your life a lot easier too, because you just got to stay ahead of them, whatever their next move is. But they've got all day to get back to wherever they want to be.
Mm.
So sometimes it's a matter of sitting still. And
Also, like, decoy placement comes into play a little bit, I think. So
ooh, this is good. Yeah.
typically, how far out or how far away do you set up your decoy?
I would say bow or gun, I'd probably be about 20 yards.
Right. So I go 15 to 20, maybe sometimes 10, because I'm anticipating them hanging up at, 30, maybe 40 yards. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to hang up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it's not. Maybe if you think they're coming from straight away from you, from a woods, maybe put it off to one side or the other, because if they're looking at that decoy, what's right behind that decoy? You. And
Right.
if you move, they're gone. So
100%
placement
agree.
of that decoy is pretty important, I think.
Yeah, and same thing. If the birds are off to your left every morning, I would place the decoy off to my right to let them get their field of vision past me.
Mm-hmm.
Exact same thing like you're saying. Whatever you can do to keep their eyes off of you. But what about this part of decoys too? Which way do you face them?
I typically face mine facing me. That's typically what I do. Because my theory is they're going to try to come over and they're going to circle around in front of it to try to fight it or combat it or whatever.
This is using a tom decoy.
Yeah.
Tom decoy facing us
Mm-hmm.
with the idea that that bird's going to come in and try to go head on with it.
Mm-hmm.
And they turn and do that sideways walk.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But yeah, but then I think if you're using a hen decoy, you can face it away from you because for the hens, they come in from behind.
Right. Right.
So yeah, I think that's kind of important to know too, is you, by the way your decoy's facing, and if it's on a stake and the wind's blowing, you might not get a choice. It's going to move.
Right.
But the way your decoy's facing is probably going to steer the direction the bird is going to come into.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I agree with you. You can keep your decoy 10, 15 yards away, but probably not directly in front of where you think the bird's going to come from.
And my goal is typically that bird is dead before it gets to my decoy anyways.
Right.
That's unless it's not the bird that I want or something, it's never going to go all the way up to it.
Mm-hmm.
So typically it's strutting and working its way to that bird and then, happens before that. But
I think the only reason we ever let it get to the decoy is when we were filming and you could get some sweet footage of them just beating the crap out of a decoy. But
or if you are with a buddy, you could shoot a bird and then the next bird winds up attacking the bird that's down or already
Right.
dead,
Yep,
So
we've seen that.
happens too.
I've seen Ron Van Meter lay in an open chisel plowed field under a decoy and get a turkey within 40 yards, shoot it with a shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was awesome.
Yeah.
He just laid prone on his stomach underneath it with his shotgun barrel between the decoy's wings, basically, and lit up a bird. They're not smart. Like, they're really not smart. But if they have that silhouette to come to, I do think
Right.
it entices them to come in. And yeah, I hope we answered your question. I think
We gave about
we went
10, 20 different.
all the way off the wall on
opinions
that
on
one,
it,
but yeah. But I don't know that there's a right or wrong answer either.
Right. I think it's easy to overcall. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's the perfect example, though, where the mouth call is going to be beneficial over a slate or a box because you got the bird within view. So obviously you're not making a ton of movement. So it's nice if you can keep
right.
clucking away with your mouth rather than having to make other movements with your hands or whatever. But yeah, interesting. That's a good question. I like that one.
It's also fun especially if you're with a gun and you've got your knee propped up and you're ready, and that bird comes in, and then you just go, and
Yeah,
his head just pops straight up, boom.
Yeah.
Like it's super easy to, while you're aiming, you can just
Right.
give a little cluck and that just perks them up. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be hopefully we're a couple weeks out from having some birds hanging up 80 yards out from us. That would be nice.
It's funny, it's like, I don't know. I don't know if turkey hunting's different for you like it is for me, or I don't know. Like, I don't like deer hunting. I can think of deer hunting all year round and be like, oh, I can't wait for this. I can't wait for that. Turkey hunting's like an afterthought, like whatever. But as soon as weather breaks and I'm hearing birds chirping and you get that smell in the air, and like it feels like spring. Something like the hair in the back of my neck goes up, and I'm like, oh my God, I gotta go turkey hunting. Like
Right.
it's weird. Like I don't think about it, and then it's here, and I'm like, I have to do this right now.
Yeah.
You know.
And it got nice the other day, and I remember I walked out with the dog at night, let him go to the bathroom, and it was like still 60 degrees out.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is the temp that you're like, I'm getting up at 4 a.m.
Right.
and it's going to be comfortable, and you're just going to go sit and watch the woods come alive. Like,
Right.
I think some of it's just getting over the winter blues of everything. It's nice to get back out, but I'm the same way, man. I'm not necessarily always successful, but I love to just go out and sit for. I also don't feel like there's a time limit. Like when I go deer hunting, I feel like if I go, I need to sit for at least 2, 3. You know what I mean? Like you got that time frame in your head that you feel like you got to do it. If I go sit and watch turkeys fly down off the roost and they're working away from me, I'm like, okay, I'm going home.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I don't know. There's no stress to it to me, but
Right.
I do love that time of year, especially before the leaves come on.
So if
Full
Ron texts
bore.
you and says, you know, it's time for breakfast, you're like,
Oh,
okay.
I'm out. Yeah, I'm out. I'd be like, come pick me up with the quad. Dude, so I had to edit the Ron episode, right? So I wasn't there to witness everything that Ron shared. But I feel like I feel like that episode was I feel like it was a counseling session for Ron. I learned that he's afraid of the dark.
Mm-hmm.
I learned that he doesn't like to sweat. I've learned that he's afraid he's going to fall out of a tree. I'm like,
all of these
everything all
things-
of a sudden makes sense.
Yeah, and all of these things we've joked about, and I thought they were flat out jokes.
Yeah. No,
Nope.
it was an eye opener. I was sitting there editing that episode and I was like, holy crap, that makes sense.
And if you think
Holy
he made
crap,
up
that makes sense.
he's listening to Britney Spears on the way out,
Oh no, that
no.
part's true. Yeah.
it's definitely true.
Yeah.
We used to be in a indoor archery league, a video shoot, you know,
Yeah.
and he would shoot and start having like an off day kind of, and then he would be like, nope. He'd just start singing either Britney or Christina Aguilera, and all of a sudden he was on fire.
Yeah.
And he was just money. I don't know what it was about it.
Ron was a super good athlete. Like,
Yeah.
don't let Ron fool you. Ron
Right.
was probably one of the most talented athletes
Yeah.
in our school when we were in high school. And there'd be guys listening to Metallica, and there'd be guys listening to Snoop or Dre or Tupac. And then you always had Ron sitting there listening to Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears. Like, and he was dead serious. That was Ron's thing that got Ron wherever Ron needed to be. But yeah, I was like, yeah, we got to get him on the show more because he's
He's a
nonstop
blast.
entertainment.
Yeah. It's the reason why he's been in my life for so long.
Oh my gosh. I've had some fun turkey hunts with him too, like
Yeah.
the doubling up and then watching him shoot a bird from under a decoy in the middle of a field. Like
Right.
Ron and I were bad to get together because both of us were highly impatient people. So we would come up with some of the weirdest stuff like, let's see if I can crawl 400 yards along this ditch and you're going to video it while you lay on my back. Like, but yeah, so like, yeah, it's good that, I got to listen to Ron's therapy session and learn a little bit about Ron's nuances.
But like, that's what I keep saying. His whole approach is like, I don't know, there's probably a ton of hunters that totally relate to him. Like,
Oh
they look, I was talking about bow setups and all this technical stuff, and it's like, chill out. You know, you're over analyzing, overthinking stuff. Like, just,
right.
you know, I don't know.
Wear out your old raggedy orange pants and your blue baseball hat and go kill some stuff.
Right. So
That's part about him I love, because the dude is still a hardcore killer. As much as,
oh man, yeah,
like, we can make fun of him all we want, but he's a hardcore killer. He always has been. So yeah,
And
but
you can't get that basketball who's going to take the final shot thing out of him.
no.
Like, if there's a hunting situation, like, I used to make fun of him because we used to hunt together all the time, and he'd, something would come in and he'd be like, hand me the gun.
Uh-huh.
Like, wait, what? Hand me the gun. Why? I see a deer over there. I already have the gun. It's my gun. Maybe I should take the shot. He's like, no, give it to me.
Yeah, here, you take the camera. Because one thing Ron never did was hit record, but
Right.
but he's a
He's a good outdoorsman, though.
So I think you said it best, because we pick on Ron a lot on this show, right? So I think a lot of people are probably like, Ron may or may not be a good hunter, whatever.
Right.
But on that episode, you made the point of, to the Ohio guys, Ron shows up at the rabbit hunt and just comes out rabbit hunts, right?
Like, he's the guest, right?
Yeah. Without knowing the backstory that Ron is the guy that knew how to do this before, well before you did.
Right.
Ron trained a beagle way before technology was a thing.
Right.
Right. But then Ron's the kind of guy that shows up and is like, oh, the rabbit hunt thing, this is Steve's dogs at Steve's family's place. Like, this is Steve's show.
Right.
I'm not going to step on it. I'm not going to say I know anything more than anybody else.
Yeah.
He's just there chilling.
Doesn't need any credit.
And it's the same way with turkey hunting, deer hunting, all that. Like, we give Ron a ton of shit. But if it came down to it and it was like, hey, you guys need to go live in the woods for a month to survive, I'm like, Ron's coming with me, because Ron will find a way to kill stuff.
Right.
Like, so he's just such a character that our stories about him are awesome, but you really can't take away from the fact that the dude knows his stuff, and it may not be the prettiest way or the most ideal way in our eyes to do things, but he makes it happen. And if you're successful, then I guess your method works.
Yep.
So yeah, it was a fun episode to go back on, but yeah, so a couple weeks out here from turkey season starting in Michigan. Appreciate you guys tuning in this week. Make sure you check us out on Facebook, X, and Twitter. You can also check us out on YouTube if you want to watch the show. Like today's question, if you want to shoot us anything, doesn't have to be about turkey hunting. It can be about deer, turkeys, fishing, buying new bows and stabilizers, whatever you want to email us. Send it into theproviderspodcast@gmail.com. We'll make sure we address it on the show, and we appreciate hearing from you guys. So we will catch you guys next time.